Boom. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant and this podcast. If you're listening, or if you want to listen, you can listen on Omni, iTunes, and allthingscomedy.com. You go to allthingscomedy.com. They got a host of comics there with their own podcasts. Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Bill and Bert, Tiger Belly. The list of comics with podcasts on that site is just crazy. So if you're not just interested in soccer, just dive in and enjoy yourself. Podcast is sponsored by onthevolleyapparel.com, and we're going to put a link to our merch for onthevolleyapparel.com below the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube or want to watch on YouTube, it's Ian Edwards or Soccer Comic Rant. Type that in and boom, and all the videos will pop up. And so we're here. It's been I don't think there are or have been any uneventful weeks since before the season started. But I'm going to introduce everybody. So tired, enjoying the fact that, well, I don't know if you're enjoying it, but, running around doing shows, stand-up comic, Southampton fan, Lee Hudson. What up, Lee? And
I'm good.
You good? You should be. You won your first game. That was your first win? Second game. Sorry, my bad.
We won a whole 2 games.
My fault. And then from San Diego by way of India, Chelsea fan, stand-up comic, Neil Chakravarty.
Hey, I am very happy today.
I mean, you beat some team you don't even know where they're from. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bonus. I'm happy for other reasons.
Neil, where's Malmo from?
It's either Switzerland or Sweden.
That's how disrespectful.
It's one. I think it's Sweden. Yeah.
It's Sweden. Yeah.
It's Sweden. Thank you, Lee.
Because young boys with Switzerland, I'm pretty sure there's no way 2 Swiss teams get into the same.
Wow.
In the same year.
I was wondering how you could come off more condescending, and you did it. Figured it out. And our Spurs expert, standing Spurs expert, is normally our producer. He's still our producer, but he watched the Spurs Man U game this weekend and was texting me. Producer from All Things Comedy, and Aaron Brungard is here with his baseball analysis of the Spurs.
Yes. AFC Richmond fan. AFC Richmond fan.
I'm sorry, man. Legit, one of the first AFC Richmond fans.
Go Greyhounds.
Go Greyhounds.
Pretty hilarious. What's going on, Brungard?
Hey.
We got some Champions League to talk about, but since Man United played today, and it was a very important game, and so was the game this weekend against Spurs. Just tell us how it felt like watching that. Was that your first Premier League game you ever watched?
Yeah, the first one I've watched in its entirety. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was the vibe like? What was it like for you?
I mean, I couldn't quite tell where it was played. I was kind of trying to figure out: is this at home? Is this away? I couldn't really. Whose house is this in?
Because you couldn't tell who was getting booed more.
Yeah, there was that. Where was it? Was it in Tottenham or was it?
It was at Tottenham, and that's another thing. Just to interject, it's like, hey fans, if you ain't gonna show up, you can't shit on the players for not showing up. Like you didn't show up. Like even when you're down, you didn't cheer them back into the game. It was all negativity all the way.
That stadium is where the last 2 recent UK NFL games have been played as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's why they built the stadium.
Basically, and to put on concerts, not to win football games.
It's NFL and Ariana Grande.
To host the Dolphins and Jaguars.
Basically.
Exactly.
So what else how'd you think about when you was watching the game? Did your heart kind of feel for any team over the other?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting pretty hard for Man U to beat the Spurs, just because I know it'd be more fun for you to win over Martin.
that's what's funny is like a sports fan gets, if you don't understand a sport completely, there's just certain things you do get about it,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you know what the value of certain things are, whether you like a full fan of the team or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And Martin was in my living room, and he came over to watch it, and he left immediately. He left. He walked out that stadium like it was the Spurs. He walked out my house like it was the Spurs stadium, and the fans were walking out.
What minute did he walk out on? Do you know?
Right before they. No, he left after the game was over. But like,
Oh, okay.
I look down and I look up. The whistle blew and Martin's at the door. I'm like, damn, you ain't gonna say goodbye, bro?
And to put that into context of baseball, I went to the Dodgers Cardinals wild card, one game, winner moves on, loser goes home. The Dodgers win it in the bottom of the ninth on a home run. I stayed in that stadium, even though it hurt. I stayed in the hurt. And I was very mad at the people in my row for being dicks. But I stayed for a good 15 minutes.
Because you're a real man.
Yeah, I think you gotta stay. You gotta be part of the
Feel
sadness.
it.
Yeah. Tell the bitter end every
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Like,
I've experienced a lot of them.
Yeah. I stayed longer than our manager because he got fired a week later.
Holy shit.
I was there longer.
That's pretty hilarious. I never understand the people who leave. I'm like, you knew there was going to be traffic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the people who get there late, and I don't understand the people who leave early. I was like, are we here for this or not? Like, you're here to enjoy this, so I don't get it.
I moved up a row just to let these guys that were dicks to me stay by themselves.
Oh, okay.
And fifth inning comes, half the game's over, more than half. And these two girls come and they're like, those are our seats.
Oh shit.
Half the game?
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's even pretty much more than half.
More than half, yeah. And then every time there was a really tense moment in the game where it was like, someone may score if they just get one hit, or, somebody's going to get shut down, even though they have all these runners on base. They would get up and go and leave during those moments. It was very strange.
I don't think they were there for the sport. Like, somebody gave them some free tickets.
They had legit jerseys on. Like, it was weird.
I think sometimes girls commit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's dress up.
Maybe.
It's like Halloween, but it's not on Halloween. It's a game. You just dress up for the thing. It's pretty weird. Are there any other thoughts like on the Man U dismantling of?
Well, that Ronaldo goal, the first goal of the game, was amazing. I mean, just such a small window, because he was pretty much alongside the goal. Such a small window to hit it in, miss the goalie. I mean, it's almost like it curved around him, around the goalie. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I kind of forgot about that goal. Like,
well, because there were two more.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I wish Martin was here to hear this.
And there were two more from Ronaldo today. So
yeah, two more from him today. Yeah, he scored today. Like,
second one was a really good hit again, another volley.
Yeah,
I was just because I saw the first half and I went out today, so I just had to like see the 10-minute highlight reel of the second half, or just of the full game, and that was a pretty astute pass from Greenwood.
Yeah,
for that volley, to think, let me do this lob pass to a player diagonally behind me. Like, that's pretty good football. And the finish was incredible. But
yeah, even the pass he made on the second goal, where it was like a real soft touch, just past the defender to
Cavani.
Yeah.
Oh, Cavani, yeah. It was a great assist.
Yeah. And I just don't know why.
That's why I know that guy's name. No, I figured that out. Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, because he can do that.
Because he can do that. and that's great when like somebody who doesn't watch the sport like sees like, you know, because you watch sport, you can tell when somebody's good at the sport you don't even watch.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that window, knowing that there's a small window and there's only one chance to do this, and he did it, drifting away from the goal, going wider and wider with a man on him who the ball gave him a little haircut, dropped to him, staying focused, bam, and scoring in that window. Did you guys have any more thoughts on that weekend game before we get into the Champions League?
Like the way Ole set up, obviously, you know, he took a risk changing the system, leaving people out, but it worked for that game. Like it exposed Tottenham. Like Tottenham didn't really have many ideas to break you guys down, I don't think, and I think that's more. I don't know if that's more of a reflection on Ole or Nuno in that game, because I mean that atmosphere was poisonous.
Yes.
Like the fact that when they were just like when he subbed Mora in the 54th minute for Bergwijn, and the whole stadium was just singing "You don't know what you're doing," and then the fans were like singing about Levy as well, which I think that was what was probably more behind the sacking than the fact that they were terrible. Levy was like, "They're singing about me now. Like, this is I need to distract
I need
from
to do
this.
something."
Like, yeah, I need to do something before they fully turn on me. Like,
yeah, I want a Christmas song about me. Let me get him a nice gift.
But I mean, if that worked, that's crazy. Like that's a great assist by the Spurs fans to the team. If that's what made them, you know, actually pull the trigger. Because
yeah,
I mean, like just going back to the game, you know, the formation that I think everybody was surprised that he actually, it was almost like he was trolling the public, like all the fans clamoring for Antonio Conte, and then he goes and puts out a 3 at the back with those 2 up front. That's a Antonio Conte formation.
But Neil, what did I tell you weeks ago in the chat? That formation.
No, but you're talking about 2 up front, but we were still talking about having a traditional 4 at the back and a diamond with 4 in midfield and 2 in front. So
I think I also mentioned 3 at the back too, and like push the wing backs up.
I think with 3 at the back, that can actually work 2 up front, because then the width that you're losing from wingers is actually being provided by the wing backs. So that's not as much of a problem.
Yeah,
so yeah, if you're saying that, then definitely I agree that is something that can work.
And because we need to fill up the middle. And to me, I feel like, listen, you could still put. Here's the issue. Like, I don't like the way Ollie's looking at our players. He's looking at everybody as this is the only position they play, and that's where it could kill you. Some of our best footballers, skill and talent wise, don't get on the field because he thinks that. And I know we bought him as a winger, and if we bought him as a right winger, but we play him on the left. So what's the big deal if we drop him in the middle and have a good ball handler in the middle?
You're talking about Sancho?
I'm talking about Sancho. Yeah. So that he can combine off. And why don't you put Donny van de Beek in the middle where there's technically 5 midfielders?
I thought Van de Beek was good today.
Right. I still have to watch the second half.
Okay.
But I say, like, get your best technical footballers to clog up the middle where you can pass to each other. And I believe that these guys could be better tacklers than he suspects them to be, because Xavi and Iniesta were some of the best, the most technical players in the history of the game. And they tackled. And when you look at when Pep came to Man City, like David Silva, who probably only had 1 tackle in his history until Pep got to Man City. And Sergio Aguero, who Pep benched because he wouldn't tackle when he first got there. And until he agreed to tackle, that's when he got in the team. And then all the players Pep converted to tacklers. Like Salah is a tackler. Like Firmino is a goal scorer, is a tackler. Mane is so just because you're an offensive player, it doesn't mean you can't play somewhere else on the pitch and like get more playing time and contribute to the team. So I think we could clog our middle with quality and close up spaces, force turnovers, and have these smart players also start the offense right away. But you know, that's what I think we should do. I don't think because we play a 3-5-2 that some of our offensive players shouldn't get on the ball. I think they should become defensive and offensive midfielders and help.
Well, that formation ended up looking a bit ropey defensively today.
Yeah, it did. It did. Because I saw the first half, and Pogba didn't have a great first half. Like the attitude wasn't there. I don't know what that's down to. But I also think that here's the thing that worries me. Like, you know, they have the press conference before each game, the day before each game. Like, so Ali does it with one of the players. Like, I don't know if all the coaches do it with one of the players.
Yeah, they normally do.
They normally do. Like, Bruno Fernandes was sitting next to Ali, and he did not look interested in even knowing Ali. Like, if you go back and watch that after this, and you look at the way he was up there, it's like literally maybe some eye rolls. And they're like, does this guy want to play for Ali? So I think Ali kind of has a team, but you know, this is thin. Like today was a tie. Like Ali has. So what?
Today was not a good performance though.
No. I'm not bragging about it.
To be fair though, like Atalanta did play well. I was really impressed with Duvan Zapata up front for them. Like he was a menace. Like
yeah,
he was strong. He was quick. He took his goal really well, which I thought was offside at first, but then looked like it was borderline on. But yeah, he was decent. It was an interesting game.
Their Atalanta is 5th in Serie A. They got 5 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses.
Yeah, they're a solid team.
They got 19 points. They got a solid team. It's just that everybody's disrespectful, you know, when certain teams. Everybody's like looking at them like they're Malmo or some shit.
No, I mean, like they were Champions League quarterfinalists 2 seasons back.
Right.
So, I mean, they're a good team. They're probably one of the more attacking teams in Europe, you know, in the last couple of years. So they can cause any team issues. I think what happened today was more of it's again boils down to, I mean, you can change around the people around you, but when it comes to the midfield, I think Ole's still trying to find that balance of using 2 DMs versus 1 AM, or like what he did today, a DM and Pogba as a box-to-box midfielder. And I mean, I've been noticing it for a while. Like I think Pogba is, unless his defensive, you know, off the ball game improves, he is gonna hurt the team from playing in that deeper position. So because literally he's there, and then you know that's the defense after him. So I think that's what happened today. A couple of key places like Pogba was, and I don't understand because like he is very strong. Like physically he is well built. He should be able to, you know, shrug off opponents in those areas of the pitch. He just doesn't seem to be able to, you know, get that complete midfield package going.
Yeah. I don't know what was wrong with him today, like I said, but I just can't call it. Like, listen, I wouldn't pay him or give him a new deal, and I love him, but it would just be like a waste of money. Like he'd probably flourish somewhere else and do exactly what we want him to do here. I feel like sometimes you need to crowd the midfield more with our own players to get him help. Like today when he lost the ball in the second half, I think I saw like the beginning of the second half.
Yeah.
Like he had no pass available. Nobody showed. And that was one thing about Arsenal this weekend. Like Lacazette would come all the way back just to get a ball just to get a pass facing his own goal, and then to pass it back to the person who passed, and then turn and run, and then open up that space, and then Arsenal could advance. And we don't have any movements like that. And I really think it's down to coaching.
Yeah, I think if United is looking for a new coach, that should be one of the first questions in that interview. Like, what are your plans with Paul Pogba? Because United need to make squad selection choices based on that. They need to make financial choices based on that. With what is going to happen with this contract. So I'm pretty sure that's very high up on the list of things that the new manager, if there's a new manager, I mean, Ole seems to be bulletproof at this point. I don't know what needs to happen for him to lose his job, but yeah, evidently nothing.
Well, he squid gamed
Conte.
Nuno and Conte. Like people were saying he's playing 3D chess. So I don't know if you noticed, Aaron. After the game, before the game, people were saying if Ali loses this, he gets fired. But he won the game this weekend against Spurs, and then the Spurs coach got fired. What do you guys think of Nuno getting fired? At only 10 games in, 5 wins, 5 losses.
I think it was stupid that he was hired in the first place.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's like they went through like 5 other guys before they settled on him. Like they should have just if they couldn't get the person they want, they should have just left Ryan Mason in charge and said like we're going to keep looking or something. Because it didn't make sense. Like it was like I don't know, man. It was just it was uninspiring, and like even the games they won at the start of the season, like the City game was impressive, but even after that, when they beat Wolves and when they beat Watford, they only just beat them, and they were hanging on. Like Lloris had to play really well in those games, so they weren't even playing well when they were winning. And then I think I read something like they've gone like almost 2.5 hours without a shot on target now in the Premier League, which is criminal, really. And I just don't know what their strategy is there. Like the players they've bought some good individuals in the summer, but none of them really seem to like all fit together. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what the thing is there. It'll be interesting to see, because a lot of Spurs fans I know are super confident now they got Conte. They're like, oh, this is the magic wand that's going to just turn this whole shit show into a diamond.
It doesn't take much to make a Spurs fan confident.
This is true.
And it doesn't take much to make them lose it either.
Well, it's exactly a year ago since they were top of the league and saying that Mourinho was reborn and back to his old self. That was exactly a year ago today. They were top of the league. They had 21 points, which is,
But I kind of really like this move by Spurs. I think it was just the kind of thing that you would do if you were a serious club. Nuno, as Lee said, the sacking makes sense because the appointment didn't make sense. So if you've made up your mind that he can't get you to where you want to be, there's no point wasting time. There's no point, trying to give him more games. Like he might win another few games, but then you're just delaying the inevitable. So you might as well rip the Band-Aid off right away and give whoever is the new manager enough time to do something out of the season instead of making a call like in December or January. And I guess now that we know what we know, the fact that Nuno was sacked was also because they already had the deal in place with Conte. I don't think they would have sacked him otherwise. So
they already had what in place with Conte?
The deal to get Conte in.
I think a part of it was Spurs trying to get to Conte before Man Utd did. And, I think that was a big part of it. But I also think I'm like the team is 5-5, but Spurs fans, because of Spurs' last few years under Podge, like have an overinflated sense of what Spurs really is. And also Spurs being one of the teams named in the Super League. Also, that's the biggest championship that Spurs fans have won since the 60s or whenever they won that cup and whatever cup that was. So,
Martin will remind you.
Yeah, Martin was not here to remind us what that cup is, Aaron, but he would say it. But that them being...
Well, they also lost to AFC Richmond in the
so can't even win on Ted Lasso.
They can't even win on Apple. But like normally I'm not down for firing a coach that's 5-5 because it could go either way. But when I saw Nuno's post-game interview, I was like, this coach can't win any games with this team. It's over. Like, and if y'all ever have time, go back and watch the lack of confidence, the lack of anything that you should have. He didn't have anything you should have when you're confident you could turn this. Even Ollie, after losing 5-0 to the rivals, like could come out with some cliches. There was just nothing. It was, you were looking at a ghost. And just based on that interview alone, I was like, there's no way this guy's gonna go back to training the next day and be a different guy. This is how he feels, this is how he is, and this is not good. What he said, what he barely said, how he said it, like that can't be your coach. So fuck it, they had to do it.
Yeah, I'm still amazed Ollie survived after last week. I know you guys turned it around this week, but
not really. We didn't turn it around.
I mean, well, the result was a turnaround. I think you were lucky you were facing one of the few teams that are even more of a shit show right now. The timing was quite nice, but it's going to be interesting the next few weeks for Ollie as well now, just to see whether he can fully ride it out or if it comes back around for him again.
Yeah. Good.
It's City next, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, City. It's just Man City. Big deal.
Hey, they're losing to Palace. They're pushovers.
Yeah. What's the big deal?
Beat AFC Richmond.
You just need to get Zaha back for this weekend and you'll be fine.
Yeah. What did you say, Aaron?
I said they beat AFC Richmond 4-0. That was pretty tough.
Man City.
That's hilarious. Yeah. What if that's the team that you just root for them through you root for a team through a football show and then you watch the show the way people watch games?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years' time somebody actually came up with a team. I don't think it's that difficult to come up with a team. You see these bunch of YouTubers come up with teams that are playing non-league right now.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
there is a non-league team in Richmond.
Yeah, so just rebrand them. I mean, wasn't Ted Lasso itself, the character, the series, something that spawned off a parody that NBC did for an ad spot? So it would be totally on brand.
Yeah, there's a non-league team called Hampton and Richmond.
Change their name.
They're in the 6th division, I think.
Oh, okay.
Conference South, National League South. I wonder if they've got any curious fans since the TV show just turning up. There's also a team who play at the training ground that they use in the TV show as well.
Oh, get out of here.
A team called Hayes and Yedding play there. I've played at that ground myself. So it's kind of weird seeing that as like the training pitch. So I wonder if they're getting any tourist fans as well.
So you played there as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So speaking of goalkeeping, let's go to Arsenal in the league before we go back to Champions League and what they did this weekend and that save from Ramsdale. And did he justify? Like it's odd now. While he's thriving, Martinez, who they sold, is kind of leaking goals right now for Aston Villa, and Ramsdale and all the Edu's buys that everybody was making fun of, and the shit looked funny. And if first it was Arteta out, now you don't even ever hear that now, and it's everybody else out, and how quick football has changed. What first Ramsdale save, and what do you think of like just how Arsenal has progressed?
Like goalkeeping is such a weird position because like no one ever really considers a goalkeeper to be doing okay or average. Like a goalkeeper is either doing amazing or they're doing dog shit. It's one of those positions. Like and that save from Maddison's free kick was world class. It's one of the best saves I've seen in a while. Like the strength of the hand to get the ball up onto the crossbar. That was just
also the follow.
He was up quickly for the second ball as well. Some of his other saves, like he made a really good like spread save from Harvey Barnes later on in the game as well. That was really good. So he's been in good form as well. Like I think it's his good form has helped mask some of Arsenal's deficiencies, because Arsenal were improved, but the fact that the goalkeeper is having to have great games, 3 or 4 games in a row now, shows you that they're not, completely solid at the back. Even though they have got better. Like I like the look of them with, Gabriel looks better with, Ben White and Tomiyasu back there, and Tavares played a great game, even though he's not always a starter as well.
Is Tierney going to get back in the game? Like he fucked around, got injured, and whenever he plays, like a confident Arsenal comes out the gate. And then I was like, last week I saw Tavares for the first time. I was like, oh, okay, let's see how he does this week. And I saw him this week. I said, I don't think Tierney's going to get this spot back.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Tierney is he's been really unfortunate with injuries as well, so they need another good left back, because you can't guarantee that he's going to be around every week. But no, I mean the change in shape, Arsenal have looked better since Lacazette's come back into the team as well. Like having him and Aubameyang together, and then you've got Saka and Smith Rowe playing as like inverted wingers coming in, and Lokonga and Partey have looked solid together in the middle. They form a good partnership as well. So the team is looking more balanced than it has done, I think, for Arsenal. Like they're starting to get a bit more settled now, which is good for them. It'll be interesting to see where they finish over the course of the season, how long this form lasts. But I mean, they couldn't really be worse than they were at the start of the season. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they probably picked up just as much points as anybody else in their last 5 games. Dropped a point or 2 here.
Yeah, I think they're like near the 3rd or 4th from the top in terms of form. Last 5 games. Yeah,
they're killing it.
It seemed like the North London derby was like a bit of a spark for them, like just trouncing Tottenham, just set them on a good run.
Yeah. But that's when they got all their guys back, and they started the team that they wanted to start, and then now, everybody's feeling it, and there's some process happening. How do you think Spurs is going to do with Conte, Neil?
I mean, they're definitely going to do far better than what they're doing right now.
Which is not hard.
Yeah,
to say.
Exactly. So Conte at United and Conte at Spurs are completely different proposition, right? Because at United, I think the expectation pretty soon would have been to win, or at least compete for the title, or the Champions League. But at Spurs, that's not really the case. To quote Antonio Conte himself, when he was manager at Chelsea, he said these words that, because Chelsea were playing Tottenham, and in the preview, in the press conference, he was asked something, and he said that, at Chelsea, the expectation, winning is an expectation. At Tottenham, winning is a hope. So,
That's pretty fucked up.
So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some banners about that when Tottenham come to Stamford Bridge. But that's a reality, right? Like I think Spurs' realistic ambition this season would be to make at least Europa League, at a push maybe the Champions League. So that would be a successful first season at Spurs for Antonio Conte. And I was looking at the squad, suddenly that squad really looks good from a 3-5-2 point of view. I
think it's maybe missing another striker. Like, I think if he plays Kane and Son as a front two, that's a good front two. But outside of that, he's having to put wingers in like Moro or Bergwijn, who aren't really in a front two. But the rest of it looks good, because he's got a whole bunch of centre backs there. Like there's Sanchez, Dyer, Romero, Tanganga can play as in a back three, and then they got Reguilon and Emerson Royale as wing backs and people like that. And Davies can play left wing back. They got Doherty can play right wing back, and they got a bunch of centre mids as well. But I think they need I think a striker will probably be his big signing in January if he gets given any money.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs have not signed another striker for a long time. I think they had Fernando Llorente on as a backup to Harry Kane for half a second.
The Champions League season. Yeah.
Bergwijn was supposed to be a striker, but he can't score for shit.
He's a winger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
But I
what
feel like they
happens
bought
in
him
the
because they hoped he would score, like Salah scoring out on the wing. But the thing about Spurs, like, listen, say what you want about Conte and all his success. Spurs has already dragged him down to the Conference League. Yeah. You're like, you're a world-class manager. You know,
Well,
when they list like the top managers in the Premier League, and it's Pep, and it's Klopp, and then there's Tuchel, and now it's Conte.
yeah.
One of them, only one of them. None of them have played in the Conference League, like a competition that didn't exist.
I don't even think Conte knows the
Did they tell him?
Did they tell him? Yeah, I don't think they told him.
Did it? What's his friend name? Tatici? What's his name? His homie?
Petrici,
Tatici. He's like,
yeah.
hey man, I got something to tell you. We have to play Thursday mornings. And he's like, what?
He probably thinks it's the Europa League, which you'd be like, okay, fine, play a little bit of that with
No, it's not the Europa League.
It's the Europa League.
So what is it? The Conference League. Could you say that louder so I could hear? So yeah. But that's Spurs dragging people down.
Hey, 1 million euros a month. It's obviously enough to sweeten the deal. That's his salary.
That's a pretty crazy salary.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm surprised Levy's paying. That's how hurt Levy was by the fans singing songs about him on Sunday. That he's like, or Saturday, that he's like, shit, I need to actually spend some money now.
But it also shows that if you look at the finances of a manager, now this is somebody who's supposed to be the most critical part of a football club, yet their salaries are not on that crazy. Like if you compare it to is Harry Kane on 400,000 a week or something?
I'm not sure. I know Kane isn't. I don't think Kane is paid as much as a lot of the other superstars in the league. Like he's getting proper Levy balled with his salary.
But like
the player's got to be.
I thought it was at least, at least 300K or something, and I think that's what Conte is getting now. And Conte
it says 400,000 pounds a week.
Yeah, so that'd be around 20 million a year. And if Conte is getting 15, then he's probably going to be more influential than Harry Kane for Tottenham going forward. So it's actually not that difficult to pay that much for the manager. It's just that a lot of clubs do choose not to do so. But Tottenham have shown that they have at least the intent to be part of that big league by doing this. I really don't know how they managed to pull this off.
Kane is getting 10 million and 400,000 a year.
Yeah, so that was when he got his new contract.
Right. Yeah. And it's a 6-year deal. So I don't know how much that breaks down into weeks. It's so weird that
that's 200K.
200K a week. It's so weird that England does it in weeks. That means they get paid in the weeks when they're not playing also.
They get paid all 52 weeks of the year.
Right.
I think they get paid it as a monthly thing, but it's always reported in the media as a weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In America, they just tell you the whole contract. They want you to hate the player as much as possible.
Exactly.
So if it's baseball, like what's a salary? And they'll tell you the player's age, right? Then they'll tell you how much and how many years, so
over the course of the contract, right?
Over the course of the so in baseball,
that's just crazy.
That guy's not going to be able to play that well.
Exactly.
So then you automatically like hate the guy, who might be playing good at that moment, and you resent him for future. You start banking resentment. Like who's the highest paid player in baseball now?
And if he sucks and you cut him, you still have to pay him.
Holy shit.
Guaranteed contracts. Highest paid player in baseball this year is a guy who's not playing at all. Trevor Bauer, who's up on assault and rape charges.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What position?
He's a
is he?
pitcher for the Dodgers.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
All right. How old was his contract? Is that he's still getting paid, right?
I think he is because he's not been found guilty. He's on administrative leave with pay, I believe.
So he's getting paid like a cop does after a shooting.
Exactly. Versus some other players who are not. It's weird. Like there's a player on the Braves who's not playing right now in the World Series because of domestic violence, but he's not being paid. So it's very strange.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun to see Conte in the Premier League. Let's see what he does. If they don't win anything with Antonio Conte, I think we can call the book on that. Like you've had Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, two serial winners.
They'll never win
back
anything.
to back. But no, I mean at least like win a trophy, like a League Cup or a FA Cup.
I mean, if they don't win with Conte,
yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Just stay in the league.
Yeah.
I think if he wins them the Europa Conference, I still think they can't say they've ever won anything.
Yeah.
I won't acknowledge. I won't acknowledge that as a win. I'd laugh at them for that.
Yeah, but this is Spurs we're talking about. They'll probably put like a star above their crest if they win that or something.
They'll put a Conte statue outside.
Yeah, like the famous Spurs DVD.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the champion year.
Yeah.
They're
still selling keychains on the website of the League Cup, of being the League Cup finalists, I think in 2017 or 2018.
Hilarious. That's pretty fucked up. So how you feeling about Chelsea right now, Neil? Like you beat Malmo 1-0 at Malmo, which is in
tough away game.
Tough away game. How much longer is Lukaku out? How you feeling about your chances?
I think they're both, Lukaku and Werner, are out till. So we'll only see them after the international break. So we have one more game before the international break. So then they get that extra couple of weeks to maybe train and get back. So we just have to survive one more day, one more game. That's against Burnley this weekend.
Right.
So I'm feeling good. I mean, the team's been doing fairly well. We've managed to, figure out a way to play without Lukaku, going back more of how we used to play last season with Havertz as the center forward. And I think Callum's having a pretty good run. He's barely got any starts, especially under Tuchel. And the few starts that he got was at right wing back. And so today was his 6th consecutive game. He's averaging a goal or assist every 90 minutes. So that's pretty positive from him.
And he's playing wing back, right?
No, now he's playing in the forward line. Like he's playing as that's his best position. He's playing as that left number 10/winger.
But before did he play wing back before?
Yeah, he was being made to play as a backup wing back because there was no. Tuchel would always prefer other players in the forward line. But since Pulisic is injured, Werner's out, Mason Mount was out, so he gets his chance. And he's been doing fairly well.
Great goal for the assist.
Today? Yeah.
Today against Malmo.
It made sense when he switched Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi.
That was amazing because I don't know if you heard what Tuchel had to say about that in the press conference. So the game started with Hudson-Odoi on the left and Ziyech on the right. And that's their natural best positions because, Callum's more of a right-footed player and Ziyech is a left-footed.
Ziyech loves coming inside, doesn't
cutting
he?
in, yeah. So they switched them. And Tuchel was asked about that in the press conference. He says that, the entire credit goes to my assistant because he spotted that we are losing about 1/10 of a second when we arrive, because they're switching the ball to their other leg to get the cross in. So maybe we can speed things up a little bit with that switch. I mean, it just shows like the level of detail, you know, some of these coaching groups have at their disposal, and it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like a lot, because it just didn't make sense like when I was seeing it, but then the explanation makes sense.
So you got Burnley, and who else coming up?
Burnley before the international break, and then
international break.
National break. I have a bone to pick though with Jorginho, because Reece James scored 2 of the best goals you'll see from you know, left foot, right foot volley on his weaker foot, right foot. Dude had a chance for a hat trick. A defender has never scored a hat trick in the history of the Premier League, and we get a penalty, and Jorginho takes it. And I mean, just for posterity's sake, like that's something that should have really happened.
Nah, you know why? If he doesn't score, it's 2-0, and if they get 1 goal, they're back in the game.
No, but also the fact is that Reece is a pretty dependable. He's the guy who took the 5th penalty in the last 2 rounds of the League Cup, and they were both deciding penalties. So you don't give somebody a penalty like that if he's not a good penalty taker.
Is it? Don't they do it in ascending, like in the best first order?
I think they keep the best for the first and the last, and then they fill things up in the middle.
Listen, man, Jorginho's just trying to get his 7 goals and be the leading scorer for Chelsea for the season. So, you know, let him get his goals, bro.
Especially, yeah, no, go ahead, Lee.
I was gonna say, I was just amazed that you know, Chelsea won a game today and it wasn't a wing back who scored the winner.
Yeah, like a lot of our goals are coming. So here's the thing about, you know, a lot of even the pundits and media have been saying about Chelsea being a more defensive team compared to City and Liverpool. I think part of that is because when you look at 3 at the back, you just assume it's kind of defensive, but but then you shouldn't be surprised as to how many goals our wing backs are getting, because they're arriving in the box. They are you know, extra attackers. So yeah, and they're consistently arriving in the box. It's not some wonder goal from, you know, way outside that, you know, it's a fluke that went in. The system is meant to be in a way that you put these guys in these positions that they can take those shots. So I think so far what we are doing, we still have that problem, I feel, in attack, where we don't really know who we can trust, because you know, some of these guys are so young and they haven't really had seasons where they're scoring 10-15 goals in the league. But the way we are doing it right now, I think we're second in goals in the season, and I think 3rd or 4th in unexpected goals. So, you know, I think we are not like Liverpool, where, you know, you need to score 3 goals every game to win the match. We have that. Wow. We have that advantage.
Good. It's fun. Neil is not confident about his team much, but when he's confident, you know, because he'll fit on the closest people to challenge him for the throne. All right, Neil. Let's see. That's all. I get it.
We're on course, though, on the defensive front. We're on course to beat the previous league record of 15 goals conceded over the season.
So you feel now that you can win the title?
I will be more confident at the midway mark, but yeah.
You'll be more confident 5 days after you win it?
No, I'll be more confident at the halfway mark when we've played every team once.
Hilarious. That just sounds like a reason to be less confident, not more.
No, because sometimes I feel like the table lies. You know, you can have an easy run of fixtures versus a tough run. I think we've had a more.
It lies for certain teams. It lies for certain, not a Chelsea.
Yeah,
not a Chelsea. But what do y'all think about Koeman getting fired?
I think that was another one that was kind of inevitable. Like they lost El Clasico, and then they lost away to Rayo Vallecano in the next game, which, like, if he'd have won there, I think he would have bought himself a little bit more time. But I mean, the fans turned on him after the Clasico, so yeah. As soon as he lost that game, I was like, yeah, he's going to go. And I watched their game against Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League today, and Kiev had some good chances. They created quite a lot. I mean, Fatty's goal was a great finish. And they looked like they had some good attacking moments, but yeah, they still looked a bit weak at the back. It's they've got Sergi, their old left back from the 90s. He's in there now as caretaker manager. It'll be interesting to see who they appoint. I've seen them linked with obviously a few people, but Xavi seems to be waiting in the wings now. So from a sort of football romantic point of view, like I really hope that works out. But I would hate for them to hire Xavi and then he gets fired after like 6 months or something, because that would be heartbreaking. But like, there's a thing I put in the group chat where it's like the lineage of knowledge being passed down. Like you had Rinus Michels passing it down to Cruyff, that style of play, and then Cruyff passing it down to Guardiola, and then Guardiola passing it down to Xavi, and now they've all managed Barca if Xavi gets that job as well. So it's an interesting one because he's obviously super inexperienced, and his coaching CV wouldn't get him that job. You know, he's won a bunch of trophies in Qatar, but winning a bunch of trophies in Qatar shouldn't qualify you for Barca. So it's purely the heritage that's going to get him that job if he does get it. But I do feel like it's a little bit more legit than, say, hiring Ole, because I think Xavi has a real fundamental understanding of the Barca way. And tactically, he seems quite, switched on to that. Whether or not he can
How do you know he is?
I've watched a bunch of the games that his team in Qatar have played, and he's got, he's got a couple of good players in there, like Cazorla's there in his team, but he's also got a bunch of like local Qatari players, and he's got them balling out. Like he's got them playing a style of football which you shouldn't be able to get people like that playing easily. So I think working with better players, and players that understand that philosophy as well, and him bringing it all together, I think he'll potentially do a good job there. But the way their squad is, they need patience, and I don't know if that exists at Barca anymore.
Did you ever see any old Maldo games? The way Ole coached those guys?
I actually went and watched a Molde game live in Norway.
Oh yeah, when Ole was there,
when Ole was there, yeah.
How was it?
They played again. I watched them away against Stabæk, who are just outside Oslo.
Oh, Stabæk.
And Stabæk, I think, lost that game. Like Eidiger Johnson was up front for Molde.
Oh yeah.
He was like
14.
He's class. He's class.
Yeah. And
how old is he?
Molde, he was like 40 at the time, I think. He was playing centre midfield, actually, sorry. But they also had El Yunusi, who's at Southampton now. He was playing for Molde that day as well.
Oh, okay.
And they also had a guy, Molde had a guy on loan, no, Stabæk had a guy on loan from Chelsea called Alex Davey.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He was a centre-back, and I think he plays like semi-professional football now.
Did you see Haaland that day?
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
All right.
So, Lee, did you go there to scout the next Manchester United manager?
I didn't. I was on a vacation in Oslo, and normally when I go on vacation, I will squeeze a local football match in if I can.
Hilarious. You call that first division local? They're top tier.
A game in the local region, and that was local, so I was like, I'll take it.
I'm gonna go to a local Chelsea game. I'm gonna go to that local Liverpool Merseyside derby.
That is. How long was Ole there? Like he was there for like 5-6 years.
He was there for a little bit because he had a few jobs. Like he was a coach of the reserves at Man United for a bit, and then obviously
Cardiff.
He got Cardiff relegated as well. But I think he was Molde. He was there for a little while because he won the league.
He won the league like 2-3 times, bro. Jeez,
we'll see.
Such a hater.
But I think
he won't let me access it. But
I think Xavi has more about him in terms of understanding the style of play that they need there. But like I say, it's still a risk. I still think he may not get given the time he needs because I think he'll need time with that squad. Obviously, they've lost Aguero now as well, which that was a bit shocking to see, that whole, him like not collapsing, but like in trouble on the pitch was, and then been diagnosed with a irregular heartbeat, and I don't know what that means for his playing career now.
Like I believe in romance in football just the same way you do, and that's why I don't want Xavi to take that job. If you're watching a romantic comedy and the guy meets the girl at the point in the life where the girl needs to go to therapy and she's not going to be done with that therapy in time for the 90 minutes to end, then they'll never get together, and you'll be watching a movie that ends without the couple being together and without the hope that it's going to last. And I feel like Xavi joining Barcelona now would be just like that, because like there is nobody there. It's just this, like there's 17-year-olds, and a person more experienced than a 17-year-old is an 18-year-old. And then you got some players that's real old. And one guy was so old, he just pretty much had a heart attack after playing 30 minutes all season. And then there's Depay, and then he started the season with like at least some attacking threats lined up next to him so that they could be a decoy to his scoring. And then one by one, they stripped those decoys away in the name of Messi before the season start, then Griezmann, and then somebody else, I think. And then other people are injured. And then Aguero never really gets to play. He played at the end of one game and scored, and then he has the heart problem. And then your midfielders are just kids. And it's like, at least when Pep took over, like he had some people who were already regarded, they were entering their prime and had quality, and those players went on to, it's just a rough time. This is a trap. Yeah, it's sexy. Yes, Barcelona's legs are open, but I wouldn't, they're not mature enough. And I wait till they're over 18 and then you holler. I just wouldn't do it right now.
I think it would make more sense if you went and took a European job somewhere else, or the B team at Barca or something. As a stepping stone, but it looks like it's happening.
I mean, it's tough to say no to, right? Like,
no, it's easy.
Well, he said no last time. Pre-Koeman, he said no.
I think it was in a healthier state then. I think when your club comes back and they say that they desperately need you, you have to say yes. I don't think you have much of a choice.
That's the thing though. I respect him and trust that he's going to be a good manager one day if he turns down this job again, because that's like being a manager and assessing things correctly. And like, I don't want Xavi to fail. There's certain people I don't want to fail, even though they played on teams that I were against. I don't want to see Xavi. I don't need that.
No, I'm saying like if the job is offered to him, and the job is only being offered to him because Barcelona right now is not an attractive prospect for real top quality managers, right? So, I mean, so where do you go? You go to the next round, and they obviously feel that getting somebody like Xavi who knows, as you said, like the Barcelona, he has a certain style that is harmonious with Barcelona. Is going to have more.
What Xavi needs to do is he needs to go to the Spanish equivalent of Cardiff, get them relegated, and then take the Barca job.
Well, that's like ignoring that your England coach got Middlesbrough relegated, and he just took England to the final. So I think you're talking about Southgate. That's what I think you're referencing. at least Ollie won somewhere. But my thing is,
Xavi's won somewhere. He's won a bag of trophies at Al Sadd.
No.
Champions of Qatar. You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that.
The fact that you know that song, and the fact that You know that song and you don't know where Malmo is banana.
No, I think there's a real chance this could be like another Pirlo at Juve.
Exactly.
And I hated to see that because Pirlo is one of my all-time favorite players.
Exactly.
But I do think Xavi understands what Barca need more than other people that have taken jobs at this stage.
I don't think it'll be as bad as Pirlo at Juve. It might be more like Lampard at Chelsea.
And that's not great. None of those. I didn't listen. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I did not like to see Lampard at Chelsea fail. Here's my thing. Here's some business advice. I'm not the greatest businessman. Never do business with a party who is desperate. Now, Xavi's fine. He's killing it in Qatar, and he's learning his trade, and they're paying him well, and they treat him like a king. Barcelona is desperate. They're so and the amount of things they've done in the last 3 years, including shit on their favorite player Messi, and the getting rid of Suarez, who's the leading scorer in the league last year. Just the way they've dealt with some of their players. Like you don't. Xavi should look at all of that and be like, nah.
But sometimes like a lot of these. So there are a couple of things, right? Sometimes a lot of these really big sporting egos, they also back themselves to do the job. Like Xavi's not going to be going into this job being as pessimistic as we are making it sound over here. I think he's going to think that he can just do what he's doing at Qatar and do it with better players. I think that's going to be his frame of mind.
But it's a tougher league.
It's a tougher league, but he also has some of the best players in that league.
Yeah, but he's not going to have. He's not going to have some of the best experienced players in La Liga. The best experienced players are on other teams, like Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I like Ansu Fati, but what Vinny Jr. is doing that's some next level shit. Like the goals he scored this weekend, and it's just
he's delivering every week for them now as well. Like he's doing it consistent.
Real Madrid didn't even have the distraction of Benzema in the middle playing next to him this weekend. They played some dude I didn't even know.
And Ancelotti said that for the first time, it's not injury that's keeping Hazard out. It's Vinicius. It's somebody else's form. Ancelotti said that the problem Hazard has right now is he has a coach that prefers somebody else over him.
The problem Hazard is having is that Vinicius is not injured.
Yeah. Well, actually, apparently he is now. So tomorrow Hazard's going to be playing. So you jinxed it.
Well, it happened before I said anything.
Yeah. So my point was like with Xavi, right now the aim is not to win the league, right? It's just they need to get top 4. They're going to be playing Europa League for the first time in God knows how many years.
They might be in a conference league.
True. So I think they just want to get, because if you assume that, let me look at the table real quick. If you assume that, Real Madrid and Atletico are going to be in that top 4, so then you're left with Sevilla, and Sevilla is also, a very good team. So the weakest team which they can catch up with is Real Sociedad, and they are farthest
at the top.
Yeah, exactly. So the gap with the highest, with which should be the easiest team to get rid of, is 9 points. So it's not going to be easy to get top 4, but that's his aim.
You're gonna have to buy a goal scorer. Like you literally need a goal scorer, because God forbid Depay gets injured, then you're in a relegation battle, just straight up.
Yeah.
Like he's their leading scorer. I think he got 5. Most of his goals were from penalties or something like that. Like they're in trouble. So I just wouldn't advise, you can get Dembele back for like 3 games before he gets injured for like 9 months again. So you got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I
There's
like
a joke that every time Dembele recovers from injury, he's playing for a different manager.
Yeah, I saw that graph. He's like, yeah, he needs to stop sitting next to MT on TT because I don't know what those guys are doing to get injured over there. All right, I'm just gonna run through the Champions League scores and then ask you who you think is gonna win the big game tomorrow in Champions League. So Chelsea beats Malmo 1-0. I guess they're in Switzerland. Lee?
Sweden.
My fault.
The Malmo keeper made some amazing saves as well. So he was the one making it 1-0. It could have been about 5-0 if it wasn't him.
Right. He got a lot of high fives during the game.
But like his saves were, everything was a rebound, though. He was not collecting clean. Like I was a little pissed at some foul players for not being there for the rebound.
Yeah,
because
he stopped like 3 1v1s though really well.
Right. Yeah, Havertz, 2 of them. Loftus-Cheek is having. I was just asking some of the other fans, Chelsea fans that I speak to, that can you recall a bad game that he's had since he came back this season? And he hasn't.
He hasn't. So I'm looking at something. Now I'm gonna. So there's what's the name of the guy that went to Norwich for you guys? The Scottish kid.
Billy Gilmore.
He's trying to get back to Chelsea. He doesn't like what's going. He's not getting playing time there.
Yeah, we need to rescue him.
And your coach is like, you need to stay there and fight for your spot. Which football is funny. Like when Loftus-Cheek was playing at Fulham last year, he did not look like on a team where he's supposed to be one of the best players.
Yeah,
he couldn't even get a starting spot. So it's weird how sometimes being sent away doesn't help you. He couldn't get a starting spot on Fulham. Like he was starting. I was like, he's not doing anything. And
no, but you know what?
Chelsea, and then now, even though they switched his position, but Fulham didn't even think. It's just weird, man.
I mean, Fulham was being very stupid with him. Like they were playing him as a winger. He's not a winger. He's never been a winger in his life. So they were. I don't think they were using him right. But also, even he didn't have a good loan. Like his performances are not up to the mark. But you know what really helped was the fact that I know he lost his spot at some point, but he still ended up playing a whole ton of minutes. And I think that's the only thing he needed because he had this long-term injury. He was away for close to 15, 16 months playing no football at all. And he comes back. Even though on paper, if you look at it, he doesn't get any goals or assists, he's not really influencing the game a lot. Just to get those, that amount of rotation back in your body, playing football at a really high level for that many minutes, that's pretty much all he needed. And now, we're seeing the results of that. So my point with Billy Gilmore is that, I mean, so
he should stay.
I think he should. Anyway, as Tuchel said, we need to make a decision only in January. He should either stay if he's able to. He needs to get on the pitch. That's the only thing. Like he can't.
They're playing him in a position that is supposed to be his position when I see him play.
No, but they changed that. So he was. There were a lot of clubs that wanted to get Billy Gilmore. Norwich was not the only one. In fact, yeah, exactly. Norwich is actually one of the least fancied clubs. But the reason he was sent there was Farka has,
he's German.
He's German. He's got links from his Dortmund. He was youth coach at Dortmund when Tuchel was the head coach. And they play a 2-man pivot, which is similar to how Chelsea want Billy Gilmore to play and learn more of the off the ball physical, the defensive side of the game. But after a few games of playing there, they switched to a single pivot and used Billy Gilmore as a single pivot. Now you just look at Gilmore. He's not a guy who can play a single pivot. He's not got that frame. He will need somebody next to him. So that didn't work. And because that didn't work, then, they kind of benched him after that. So, I mean,
whose fault was it that the double pivot didn't work with him in it?
I mean, it wasn't, they didn't even give it much time. It was so early in the season. The problem with clubs like Norwich is when things go wrong, even though you might have a plan at the beginning of the season, how you want him to play and what assurances you've got, all that goes out of the window. It's now just about survival. So Billy Gilmore's personal development isn't really on the top of priorities for Norwich at this point. So
Brandon Williams is on the bench a lot there as well. We were trying to get him on loan too, but he went to Norwich, and then he played like last week, and then he got dropped again this week.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams, or is he? Who's he?
He's your guy.
Yeah. Brandon got dropped over there too on the left back. Yeah. Something happened. Something's happening over there. He's not starting. Neither guys are. But I feel like that's how loans are. Like sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. You know.
Yeah.
And like I just hope like Brandon Williams was a guy that played with complete courage, like wherever. But it's not happening at Norwich. And I've seen him make mistakes playing for Norwich too. So it's not all their fault.
It works both ways. Like it took Brozier a few games to get in the team for us. Like he didn't start at the start of the season, then took his chance once he did get in the team.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna run through this, and then we could go to the who's gonna the game tomorrow, the main game, Atletico Real Madrid, and then we'll go back to the Premier League and wrap up because Lee needs to talk about his win, Southampton, getting it on. So, as much as we just tied today, Man United is at the top of their group with 7 points. Let me see that group.
That is just crazy. Like around the 80th or the 85th minute of every United game in the Champions League, you're like either fourth or third. By the time it's full time, you're first. Like this has happened three match weeks in a row.
That's pretty hilarious. That's pretty hilarious. So Juventus beat Zenit 4-0.
4-2.
4-2, sorry. Villarreal beat Young Boys 2-0. Bayern beat Benfica 5-0. Lille, who lost to PSG on the weekend, beat Sevilla 2-1. Like Man United, Atalanta 2-2. Barcelona won today against Dynamo Kiev, so the interim coach did his thing. There's a bunch of games tomorrow, but I guess the biggest game is Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. Did you hear what Atletico Madrid Diego Simeone said today about shaking coaches' hands? He doesn't like doing it at the end of the game because of all the emotions, and when you do it, it's just being fake. So he'd just rather not be fake and shake hands. He doesn't hate Klopp, and he admires him as a coach, but he's not going to shake hands at the end of a game. So, who y'all got tomorrow?
It's an etiquette thing normally, but I do agree with him. Like it can be a bit fake, but I think it's just more of a manners thing, just to say acknowledge,
sportsmanship.
That's a good game, yeah.
Yeah, Diego, someone you never heard of sportsmanship?
Evidently not.
Yeah. So who y'all got tomorrow?
David Beckham might have a word to say about that.
He's all about sportsmanship. How about Liverpool, Atletico Madrid? Who y'all got tomorrow?
It'd be an interesting one. I think Liverpool at home, you'd expect them to have enough to win the game. But Atletico, you can never, dismiss them. They'll turn up. They'll fight. They'll have, they'll give it a go. They'll be in the game. So it'd be interesting to see. I think I can see Liverpool winning it by like one goal, though, like a 2-1 or a 1-0 or something. But who knows? But I think Liverpool should have enough.
What you think, Neil?
I think it should be a close game, but I'm really interested to see how Liverpool turn up, because they've had a lot of these games where they've conceded a lot of chances, a lot of goals, which is unlike what we've known from Klopp teams in the past. So, whether he does something to change that'd be interesting to see.
I think their midfield is janky right now. Like it's not the desired starters.
Yeah,
he has to figure that formula out in the midfield. I think he gets.
That's why they're being linked with Bellingham all over the place right now.
Yeah,
shit. I mean, that's worth $100 million right there.
I think he retweeted something. That's why it's become pretty. Like he retweeted himself laughing at the rumor, but people couldn't figure out whether he's laughing or was he nodding at it. So
What do you
he'll
think
be a
about-
great buy. Somebody if they can get him.
Yeah, I hope he gets bought by a team that knows how to use him. I don't want a Pogba situation with him, even though it's different positions. Now I'm aware that could happen to players. I don't want talent wasted. What do you think on PSG versus Leipzig and Messi getting taken off at halftime PSG game this weekend? Even though he deserved to get taken off, he was kind of disconnected from the team. He'd lose the ball and just let his team go get the ball back and bring it back to him and do that repeatedly. He didn't really care. And it was a big call by Poch to take him out and then eventually pull the win off. So what do you think?
I'm hoping that he's just agreed to go there for a season while Barca figure their money out and then he goes back. Because it just doesn't look right. I don't like seeing him in a PSG shirt. It just looks wrong still. But I mean, he seems to play better in the Champions League than he does in the league for them at the moment. So who knows? He might show up. I saw a stat that between them, Chilwell and Reece James have been involved in more goals this season so far than Neymar and Messi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think that's 9 between both of them.
Yeah. But
7.
PSG is a top by like 10 points or something in the French league, which is obviously way more comfortable than they were last season.
Right.
I think when Tuchel got fired, they were 1 point off top, and then Poch finished 1 point off top. So the fact that they're strolling Ligue 1 by like 10 points this season is obviously, going well as a team, even if Messi isn't quite firing on his own. But yeah, I think they'll be comfortable against Leipzig. I think Leipzig will they'll put up a fight, but it should be a PSG win.
Right. And then let's go to Premier League. Let me see. Let me do this.
Oh yeah, Messi has 0 goals, 0 assists.
Yeah, you should count his turnovers and count them as goals. That'll look impressive. So top of the league is Chelsea, and they beat Newcastle this weekend. Anything you want to say about that easy ass win with an interim coach at the team that's worth that might go down now because they got rid of Bruce?
Love that. Love sticking the dagger in to Newcastle.
People were walking out. People were walking out before the game was over. Like you guys, like come on.
Well, now they have expectations.
They got arrogant so fast.
Yeah. But I think we had a pretty tough first half where, these low block, when you face teams with the playing in the low block, it's always tough. It's always, you need that first goal early on, otherwise you're in for a rough day. And there's certain things we weren't doing enough in the first half, but in the second half, Hudson did this one really nice 1-2 and went past the last line. Really, that's all we needed to do, because that cross is what created the opportunity for Reece's first goal. And then from there, the game kind of opened up, became a little bit more easy for us. Reece got the second and then the penalty. Mendy had nothing to do, and then he made a great oh no, that was the previous game. Mendy literally has had nothing to do in the last 2 games, so we've kind of like made him have a breather after what he did versus Brentford. So yeah, he's chilling at the back.
Yeah, he might forget how to actually save during a game if this keeps up.
Ross Barkley did like a million step overs and passed the ball way back to somebody in deep midfield. Like he was on the edge of the box, and we were, I think, already 3-0 up at this point. So I was like, he had space. I was expecting to do something, and then he does like, it was almost like, one of those gifs that get, that just keeps going back and forth. He did that and then sent the ball back. So yeah,
your boy.
Ross the boss.
The crazy thing about Chelsea is that they're using a lot of their bench now. Like I'm seeing players that I thought I'd never see play ever again. Like, come on. There's, Ross is off the bench. Your boy Cheeks is off the bench. And who else did I see? I was like, oh shit, he's still there.
I think in the first 8 games,
Mhm.
we've already had 23 different starters.
Yeah. Are these injuries? Is this because of injuries?
Well, yeah, a lot of injuries, and then some rotation, just trying out different players. For example, Loftus-Cheek, we got Saul in to be that fourth midfielder,
Mm-hmm.
but then Ruben played one League Cup game. And he was amazing, and then Tuchel just trusted him, and he's been amazing. Like, I think he's been our most consistent player this season.
Yeah, he's gonna take that spot from Jorginho.
That is just crazy, but he can.
He can. He's got man, he's skillful as shit. It's good to see that skill on the pitch. Liverpool dropped points against Brighton Hove. We know Brighton Hove is good, and they went down 2-0 to a Liverpool team. There was one goal that they conceded early where they kind of like did not put any pressure on Liverpool, and Liverpool's okay, no pressure, and they just walked right through Brighton Hove. But after that, Brighton Hove got their shit together, and they gave it a go in the second half. And Graham Potter is a coach.
What a coach, man! I really like him.
Yeah, and then I like what he did with Trossard, where he put Trossard as the tip of their spear because he's probably like their most effective scorer, and Mopé's on the bench, and yeah, they're getting some results, man. And they even scored some offside goals.
Yeah,
Liverpool's lucky.
Yeah, Trossard. I think it was Trossard again who scored.
Was that the one after the really good run by Lamptey?
Lamptey, yeah.
And then Lamptey's getting healthy. Oh man, this team, you don't want to fuck with that team, bro.
So here's a thought: like, if Graham Potter gets offered any job in the Premier League, what's the kind of a job that he should take? Like, at what level should he at least start considering that?
I don't want to see him get any Premier League job. I want him to be the next guy in after Southgate.
Oh, really? That's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Man City dropped all the points against Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira went to Man City, whooped ass, Zaha, and one of the best Chelsea players not playing for Chelsea. It's like, why is this guy not at Chelsea? And do I have to say Gallagher's name, or are you just going to just say it, Neil? I mean, really, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy.
I like how, like, at some point he side-footed Grealish, and they had like a hairstyle competition for like a couple of seconds. They just both kept fiddling with their long hair. And it's like, oh, who's gonna blink first?
And I was devastated this week. I put Conor Gallagher on the bench in my fantasy team.
How dare
so I was like, they're playing City away. They're going to get nothing. And then he got a goal and an assist and player of the game. And yeah, bro, bad decision.
It's Conor Gallagher. Just put all your money on Conor Gallagher. plus he's working for Chelsea, making Man City one of their closest opponents drop points. It's Conor Gallagher working.
That's the best feeling. Like, if Lamptey's that goal had come off and that even Brighton had won, that would have been a perfect Chelsea day.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a super headache for Tuchel next season, because we have 2 spots and we have 4 players for them. Plus we have Saul, whom we can probably send back because it's just a loan. But now you have Gilmour, Gallagher. What do we do? Like,
you send Saul back and you sell Barkley finally.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's still 4. Plus you have 2 more coming in.
Well, since like Germans are good friends, put Gilmour on loan at Southampton with another German.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I think Gilmour will need another season on loan. Gallagher will not get another season on loan. He will either do everything to leave, or if he's not offered a spot in the main squad, because he's already been on 4 loans in 3 seasons. He's not going to go in for the 5th loan.
Yeah, and he's created his own value now.
Exactly. So
he might stay at Crystal Palace. It's London, right? He's like, fuck it.
No, we can't do that. We'll have to, because you know what's going to happen if you sell him to Crystal Palace. Some big club is going to take him in the next couple of seasons, and then that's going to hurt us for the next decade.
He's going to hurt you regardless. Wherever you sell him, somebody else is going to buy him.
Yeah,
on that team.
So we need to get rid of one of our midfielders and one of our forwards and keep Gallagher because he can do both roles.
Bye, Juninho.
Jorginho, actually, it's interesting because he's entering into his last year of contract this summer. So, and we don't offer more than 1 year contracts to 30-plus-year-olds. So
right. How old is he?
He's turning 30 this December.
All right.
So
we'll see. Manchester United West Ham is 4th, and they beat Aston Villa 4-1. Like, pulled their pants down, just dominated pretty much. There was a sending off, I know, for Villa, but West Ham is just on a run right now. And David Moyes, is doing his thing. And this weekend, they got Liverpool. Who you got between West Ham and Liverpool, Lee, this weekend?
I mean, that's not a game you want after, because that Atletico Madrid are going to make Liverpool. Even if Liverpool beat Atletico Madrid, they're going to battle and they're going to work for it.
Right.
So you want an easy game after that. You don't, especially after Brighton at the weekend. So Brighton gave them a going over, and then they got Atletico who are going to make them work, and then they got West Ham who are going to be, in their faces as well. So that's a tough run of games for Liverpool there. Like West Ham are. I mean, I've been waiting for their form to drop off, and they just haven't. They just keep going.
It's picking up.
Yeah, I mean, and they've got good players there. Like Antonio's a handful. Fornals is playing well. Lanzini's playing well right now. Ben Johnson's come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Jared Bowen's playing well, but Johnson's goal was brilliant. Jared Bowen's playing well as well. The guys at the back are good. They're just looking like a solid team. It's not like hugely pretty what they do, but it's super effective. Like they're just winning games. And I mean, we said it last year when they were in good form, like just no one expected this when they appointed Moyes as manager again for the second time.
Right.
And I mean, he's kept it going. I'm interested to see how long they can keep it going for. I mean, we spoke earlier in the show about this time last year, Spurs were top of the league and we saw how that finished.
Yeah. There's always that team with the table early.
I think the 4th spot is up for grabs, and West Ham, there's no reason why they can't get that 4th spot. On current form, I mean, unless United pick up or unless Spurs do something with Conte or I don't know, but I mean, form-wise, you can't look past them at the moment. They're there. They've earned their spot.
You know what? In order for them to finish 5th, they have to be in 4th now. And that's all I have to say. In order for them to finish 5th or 6th, they have to be in 4th now. I don't think Man United, whether with Ali or not, and maybe especially without Ali, should be able to get 5th if we get the right coach. I mean, should be able to get 4th. That's all. Caught me slipping there.
I think the 4th spot is really up for grabs though, because I think Chelsea, Liverpool, City are going to be the top 3. And then 4th place could be West Ham, could be Leicester, could be Spurs, could be United, could be like even fucking Arsenal right now. Like, who knows? Newcastle might go and buy a whole new team in January.
Maybe Spurs and Man U for 4th. Yeah. That's the fight. Maybe that's
who knows. It's open though.
Not really. It's just because Man U might not be in the top 3, it doesn't mean it's going to be in a dogfight for 4th with all these teams. It might just be one of those teams you mentioned, and which is enough to, all you need is one team causing trouble to take it away from you. But City, they're one Antonio away, even though they had some Antonio injuries early in the season, and they're still doing good now. They're kind of that fragile,
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm interested to see how long it goes on for, and I think we'll definitely have a clearer idea after Christmas when there's all those fixtures in that period. If they come out of that and they're still in the mix, then I think they need to be taken seriously. I mean, I think they need to be taken seriously anyway. But
for sure.
I mean, and Rice. I mean, every time Rice plays right now, he's putting more millions on his price tag every single game. It's crazy.
Yeah, they used to talk about Declan Rice. I'm like, why? And now I'm no longer be like, why? I get it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
He's adding everything to his game now.
Yeah.
He's the guy that like United could really do with in that midfield right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of United, we're fifth. With a beating over Tottenham. We beat Tottenham this weekend, so we're fifth. On the weekend, we got Man City. What are you guys' thoughts on this City Man United game?
I mean, Ollie's got quite a good record against City, hasn't he? I think, where like he's got a habit of just going and playing City and sitting behind the ball and then scoring like a goal or two on the counter. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at the two teams and you think City probably should take it, but I mean, United seem to come up for these games under Ollie. So, I mean, Ronaldo will probably relish the fact that it's his first Manchester derby again since he come back. So, I think he'll probably put in a big performance. I can't call it. I don't know what will happen. It'll give, especially City after last week against Palace. Who knows? So, I think that one's super open. I wouldn't want to call it.
Right. And City has the habit of doing us a solid and playing into our hands. So we'll see. And then 6 is Arsenal, and they're climbing up the charts right now.
Yeah.
And they're doing their thing. It was a good. They beat a good team this weekend. Leicester has been on like a 2 or 3 game win streak, and Arsenal. Any thoughts on Arsenal's and Arteta's process and the shit that's going on with them now? Oh, did we talk about Arsenal earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fuck Arsenal. We good. Wolverhampton Wanderers on I guess Monday they beat Everton. So they've had 4 wins out of their last 5 and 1 draw. So Wolves is like the new coach. Everything. That's what happens when you give a coach time. Spurs. Anyway, then there's Brighton.
Wolves snuck up there as well. I've just seen they're above Brighton, which is like they've crept up on the on the radar.
They're the only team in the Premier League who are unbeaten in the last 5.
Yeah, that's
4 wins, 1 draw. They're on the top on the form table last 5 games.
Yeah, remember when they couldn't get any points and they but they're one of those teams like you remember when what was the team Sheffield last year would just lose games by 1 goal, by 1 mistake late in the game.
Yeah.
But it's a game they could have won. Like Wolves has been in that position. But if you don't start winning at some point, you're just going to start losing big. And Wolves survived those losses that could eventually turn you into losing big and have turned them into wins, which is not an easy thing to do. And like you said, they, haven't lost in their last 5. So, Brighton Hove, they are 8th, and they tied with Liverpool. Great game. I watched that game this weekend. And Spurs versus they lost to Man Utd. We covered that already. And they got Everton this weekend. Everton is next in 10th. Then there's Leicester. They're in 11th. Then Brentford. Brentford has lost 3 in a row on the low. Do you know that, guys?
Yeah, Brentford got going over by Burnley at the weekend. That was Burnley's first win of the season.
Yeah.
Like Burnley showed up. Like Cornet looked good again, but I was surprised, like just how flimsy Brentford looked in that game.
Yeah. Do you think? Is it like the enthusiasm, gasoline is running out, and now it's like welcome to the Premier League when you're a little bit worn and there's 10 games in, the Premier League really starts and you ain't ready for this.
Possibly. I mean, like when they played the really good games against like Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, they were all at home and their fans are brilliant. Like it's a small ground, the fans are noisy.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they went away to Burnley where, they got that done back to them. And they didn't have Mbumo as well, who's been one of their best players this season. So that looked like it affected them. And yeah, it was a strange one. Like Burnley just came at them and like, I've never seen a Burnley team so attacking. It was all the damage was done in the first half, really. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then Brentford is so relentless. like when I saw the score and the highlights, because I was watching another game that was on at the same time, I was almost wondering if a prank was being played on me, and if this was like a real score, like against this. I guess every team has this, but now I'm looking at it, they've lost 3 in a row. That could break you if they lose one more.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing. Crystal Palace finally broke their string of draws and got a good ass win against Man City. We talked about that earlier. So this team it's going through the steps to become a good solid team. Like they have had these draws that I'm looking at, these 4 draws. I just remember them being in the lead in these games and losing in the last minute of most of them. So this weekend they made sure they won when they got that sending off against Man City. And Southampton is 14th. They beat Watford 1-0. How you feel about this, Lee?
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, we should have scored like 5 in this game. Armstrong had a great game other than his finishing. Like his movement was great. He was getting into the right positions, but he just couldn't score. But what I will say though, Shea Adams' goal was world class. Like the finish, the way he sort of came onto the ball, turned, faced goal, and then like there was no backlift. Like he just it was almost like a golf shot, like just a little like chip. Just put it straight in the top corner. Was a pretty incredible finish. And we needed that as well because, I mean, Brozier's been our goal scorer the last 2 games and he was injured. So we needed one of the forwards to step up and score a goal. But it was a shame we couldn't make it more comfortable. Watford had one chance towards the end where McCarthy pulled off a good save. But it's a win. It's a clean sheet. Keeps us moving up the table. We're now above Villa, who Danny Ings decided he was going to go to. So, I mean, I shouldn't talk shit about the guy because we're playing them on Friday night, and I guaranteed now I've cursed it. He's going to come back and score a hat-trick past us or something, and they'll go back above us in the table because we're only 1 point ahead of them. But
they're gonna be desperate. They're gonna be the tiger with the thorn in its foot, and like they lost 4 in a row. And their coach is under pressure. Like Lloyd is a friend of
money.
Yeah, he spent a lot of money.
Dean Smith.
Yeah, but the fans think he's not good enough anyway. So his head on the low because there's been louder scalps on the chopping block. You don't hear about it unless you like pay attention to Villa. But their fans, they kind of want him. They kind of want him gone. They want to upgrade.
That is surprising. Like wasn't he the one? He brought them up, right?
They don't care, man. They don't give a fuck, bro. You know, football is. Where is Lampard?
Everybody's trying to copy the Chelsea model.
No, but fans don't care. It's the same thing with the Barca fans. Like, there's literally nothing Koeman. There's hardly any coach that could do better than what Koeman did. Koeman actually won 2 trophies last year with Barcelona.
I mean, I think he won 2 trophies with Messi.
Yeah, but it's still a bunch of injured players. Like Barcelona, they didn't win anything the year before without Koeman.
Yeah,
and with Messi, and with Suarez, and with Griezmann, and however many games. It's like, but so Villa, 15th, slipping, dropping 3 points like it ain't nothing. Versus Southampton, Will Ings get some revenge next week.
Yeah.
Lee just cursed it, so up the Villa.
It's written.
It is written. So, coming down the mountain with those 10 commandments.
I really hope the fans don't boo him though, because. Like he played well for us. He scored a bunch of goals. I think the only thing that people were unhappy about was that he said he wanted a big move and then he went to Villa, which is it's a slightly bigger move maybe. We'll see how the rest of the season pans out. But like, I think that was more the thing. But like he was a good servant. He scored goals for us for a few seasons. Like I hope people don't boo the guy because he's a good guy and a good player. So I think it would just motivate him if the fans boo him.
You know, a theme I wanted to talk about on here, but we're a big club. Like it's such an insecure thing. Like when I listen to like the English talk radios, and the way to insult an English fan is to insinuate that their team is not a big club.
Yeah.
And big club is all based on something that their club won 40 years ago. And just that one thing makes them a big club. And it's like, who gives a fuck if, like, so like Ings moving from you to Villa, like there's Villa people, they will tell you they're a big club because of they won some European championships before the name championships are what they are. So Villa's a big club. Like they shouldn't have been in the championship. We're a big club. And then they also make panic moves, not just Villa, just a lot of these big clubs based on the fact that they're big clubs that get them into more trouble, that sink them down the table and into the different leagues. So it's like I know both of you have heard like people, but we're like the only argument is like it doesn't matter if you're a big club. It matters if you're a big club now.
Yeah. And also like the goalposts on that keep shifting too, right? Like what is it? Is it like what you've won recently? What kind of stadium do you have? What sort of how's your fan base like? How much of a big fan base do you have? What sort of players do you attract in the transfer market? It just keeps moving too much.
Yeah, I think like even if you look at Southampton and Villa, like on a recent level, there's not that much in it. I mean, Villa spent more money this summer. That might have been his reason. He thought they might have had a better chance of finishing higher up the table this year, and it's fair enough. But yeah,
but like let's go back to Newcastle. Like all I've ever heard Newcastle fans say, we're a big club, and it's based on what they did with Keegan and one other manager before Keegan.
Not even that. It's more based on the fact that they have a sort of big stadium and supposedly loyal fans. I think that's the only reason.
I mean, they're a one club city. I think that's what there is to it. Like that's just a virtue of geography. I mean, they're proud of geography.
So,
like Leeds. No other club came up in the city your club was there. You have a shitty footballing history, therefore no other club existed around there.
You're a big club.
You're a big club. Like you move around in London, every train station is a football club. How is that a virtue?
It's so funny, man. But no, if you want, it's the N word of a soccer fan. It's the N word to tell somebody, some soccer fan, that his club is not a big club. If you want it to kick off, you tell them that shit. It's so fucking hilarious.
Or if you tell them which club is bigger than their club.
Oh Jesus! So you want to tell them about their mama now? Okay. you want to go into mama jokes. that is so funny that excites people in a hysterical way to me.
Yeah.
So it's Villa, Watford is 16th, Leeds is 10th. They got a win. I forgot who they beat. They beat Norwich. Norwich is just there for, hey man, anybody need a Norwich this week? They'll come around to you. You got them. They'll pull up and help you out with your.
Who did they lose to this time?
Who? Norwich?
Leeds. They
lost to Leeds 2-1. Yeah.
Which is good. I want more folks to create some sort of a distance between the bottom three and everybody else, because
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Why? Because you want
that shit as well.
Oh, okay.
I want the richest club in the world to be in the championship.
So Lee is saying this because he expects it helps for Southampton's survival, and Neil is just saying it because he's hating on another country whose owners have oil money. So
what do you mean another country?
I mean, it is a country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
No, I just feel like the meme potential of Newcastle United being in the championship is limitless. So,
well, they shouldn't have fired Bruce.
because they're now 4 points of 10, so they need 36 points in 28 games. That's a point and a half a game.
Well, your team helped to make that meme possible even more with this weekend with your 3-0 win over them. So
yeah,
let's hope.
Oh, so
and they got to play Brighton and
1.28
Hove
points.
this weekend.
So I think they need 1.28 points per game, which is not. I mean, it's doable if they get a decent manager. But I mean,
Emery apparently.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Which again, like Villarreal might be in the Champions League knockout. Like, why wouldn't he just take it at the end of the season? But that job might not be available at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So
It'll be available. And then you said something in the chat, Neil, because I think you said it because Everton lost. So are you suggesting what's his name will get fired or leave and come to Newcastle from Everton?
Oh, who, Benitez?
Yeah. Is that why you said?
Oh, maybe that was probably not me.
No. Okay.
It's probably Martin.
Hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, he's not here, so let's put it on him.
I mean, he's not. He's also off the coach scouting duty right now. He's got his guy.
Yeah, he's happy.
He's happy.
He's happy. Norwich is 20th with 2 points, and then pretty much that's the show. Unless y'all got something you want to say.
I think we've covered it all.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, Aaron Burngard, for being a guest on the show and letting us know what the real deal is, how much you love Manchester United. Appreciate that. Too bad Martin wasn't on for you to tell him how much his team stinks. But because it might be the last chance. They're gonna get good now. They got a good new coach. They got Conte. And it's going to be.
That's another thing we on the pod have to deal with now.
Yeah. Like Martin without Conte was unbearable. Now Martin with Conte, Jesus, that's the next level. Martin.
He's going to have that. I will just say though, I just looked at the photographs and the video. Antonio Conte looking a little bit sad.
Sad?
Looking a little sad, like on with that Spurs blazer on.
I don't know, man. That $1 million a month. It's tough to be sad on $1 million a month.
He usually looks pretty sharp in the suits. He's looking a little. He looks like he's aged a little.
It just sounds like you're being petty, Neil. To be honest.
I don't know why you think that.
You're looking at your ex-lover and you're being really petty right now.
Hey, we got a good one right now.
Your ex-London Chelsea lover.
I just hope they come out with a big banner with the hope and the expectation line from Antonio Conte.
Not too late for you to fly in and get that going. But guys, thank you, and we'll talk next week. And may God bless us all.